Hi guys,
Hi,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
how are you guys doing?
All
We're
good,
good,
sir.
sir.
Thank
How
you.
are
How are
you?
you?
I'm doing good. Okay, so first let's start with introductions. I'm Advocate Tejas Sudhakar, as you all know, and it's only for those who still don't know me yet. And so you can introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Sanjana Deshpande. I'm
Okay.
doing my law along with my CS.
I'm Sunit Bhatt. I have finished my BBA LLB in 2024 and currently I'm pursuing company secretary course.
Okay. Guys, can you come a bit closer to mic? I think it'll be a bit more audible, right? Yeah,
Good now?
works. Yeah, works. Okay. So, are you guys giving both the groups or one group?
One group, sir.
Module 1.
Okay. And how about have you guys given any previous attempts?
Yes, I had given December 2024 attempt.
I have
And you,
given
Sandeep?
June 2025.
June 2025. Okay. So before we get started, so you guys are giving module one, right?
Yes, sir.
So before we get started any further, so one, so you can let me know what was your learnings from the previous attempts? Like, what do you think you could have changed? You can just let me know.
One thing I think I should have done is covered all the topics. Like, even if you think that it's not important, I think you should at
Mhm.
least put a glance and don't leave anything in the paper. Even if you don't know, write something at least.
Right. You, Sunil, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, sir. I noticed I'm weak in time management. I
Okay.
have to improve my writing. I have to write fast.
Okay.
That's it.
And Sanjana, from what you have told, from what I am understanding is like you didn't attempt 100 marks. Is it true? Like in December 2024, did that happen?
Yeah, I attempted everything for 100 marks.
Okay. So for you, time management is not an issue.
No, no, no.
Suni, did you attempt for 100 marks?
I have tried to attempt for 100 mark for every subject,
No,
but
I mean to say, did you like you did not attempt for 100 marks because of the time management or because you did
yes,
not
be-
know the
because
content?
of time management, I couldn't attempt for 100 marks.
Okay. This helps me a lot to understand how to plan your studies. Okay. So it's for module one. Now, so first let's list out the subject. One is your JIGL, then you have your company law, then you have your SBIL, and then you have your CFM. Okay. Now, Suneet, from I think you've finished your law, so I think JIGL would be exempted for you, right?
Yes, yes,
So JIGA, so you are only left with three subjects. So you're giving only three subjects in December 2025. And
yes.
Sanjana, I think you will be giving all the four subjects.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So Suneet, first let's get started with you. So how much have you studied and how are you feeling about your studies? Are you satisfied? Or how much have you completed?
Currently, I'm studying every subject parallelly.
Okay,
I'm
so basically company law, setting up and CFM, right?
yes.
Okay, fine. And how much of company law have you finished?
In company law, I have started with part B. Four
Okay.
units I have finished in part B,
Okay,
and
how many chapters have you finished? Can you please come again?
in company law, 4 units.
Okay,
Uh,
that's in part B.
yes.
That's in part B. And CAFM, what's the status?
In CAFM, I have finished 2 units, and
Okay.
in SBIN, I have finished 3 units.
Okay, fine. And Sanjana, how about you? What's your status?
So, company law part B, I've done my first reading,
Okay.
and part A, I have only three chapters to go. I'll be done with my first reading.
Of
Uh,
part B, is it? So you'll
part
have.
A, part A,
Okay. So you are overall done with company law. So almost
almost.
80% is done. Like your first reading of 80% is
Yeah,
done.
yeah, almost.
And Suneet, can I say yours 25% is done?
Yes.
But you would have studied before, right? Like, so this should be for you guys more like on the revision side of things, or how is it?
Yes, sir. It's like a revision for me.
Okay. Did you cover, Sunny, when you were giving your last attempt, did you cover your 100% of the syllabus like before going to give your exam, or did you leave any chapters in company law, specifically to company law?
No, I have covered 100% of the syllabus.
Okay, you covered it. So, okay. So, Suneet, you are saying that now, for this December 2025 attempt, you have done around 3 to 4 chapters in company law.
Yes.
And Sanya, you're left with 3 to 4 chapters of
Yes,
company law.
company law.
Okay. So, first question which I keep getting often, so it is 100 days enough? Absolutely yes, if you're giving one group. Absolutely yes, if you're giving one group. For both the groups, you will have a separate video for that. Like if anyone else is watching and if they want to give 2 groups, you will have an idea like when both the groups is possible in 100 days. Okay. Now coming back to module one planning. So right now, from what I can understand, so which are the chapters that are left, Sanjana, in
For
company
me,
law?
from company law part A, merger amalgamation, inspection inquiry, and dividends.
So, anyways, inspection investigation is no longer there in your syllabus. So, more or less, you are done with your company law. Okay. So, here's what you will do. So, we'll go with the targets, like how you need to do it. Okay. So, starting with, okay, for September 30th, what will be your targets? September 30th. Okay. So, your company law targets will be, okay, finish part B, finish part B. Okay. And in part A, finish, share, and share capital, members and shareholders, debt instruments, accounts, audit, and auditors. Okay. Majorly, then you have your compromise and arrangement. Okay. Charges and dividend. So, whether it is your first reading or if it is going to be your first revision does not matter. These are the chapters before September 30th that you need to be thorough with. Okay. Why? Because these are important chapters. See, for example, charges and distribution of dividend profits does not carry too much marks, but at the same time, there isn't much to remember over there. If you understand the concept, like basically you can finish charges and dividends. If you are only doing that in a day, you can easily finish these 2 chapters, and probably you can even give 2 days for just for solving these questions, right? So this is how these this will be your targets for company law. Okay. And my personal opinion always, I think for Suneet it might be a bit different because he's only left with 3 subjects. But for Sanjana, now you need to juggle with your law school and your CS preparation. So you can keep setting up for a later point of time. And how are you guys at CAFM? Like, did you guys do well in your previous attempt? How was it?
I didn't. My weakest subject is CAFL.
Okay. And
Even
you?
I'm weak in accounts.
Okay. So now you guys know exactly where to focus it. Okay. Now do not do, I know it is most of the students, what do? They find the easiest subject for them and they start focusing on that over and over again. But that will not actually help you tackle. And by the time you realize it would be probably October or November, probably October end and November, And that's when you realize that you will have to take up your difficult subjects for you. That's just going to backfire at you because you don't get enough time to revise to that particular subject. You getting my point? Like, so right now, focus more on company law and CAFM, okay, and JIGL for Sanjana. JIGL is not there for Sunit, so you can keep JIGL aside. That's not there in the plan. And you guys can keep setting up in the month of November. The reason why I'm saying setting up, okay, it's my, I've seen this working for many students. Why? Because setting up is more procedural in nature, and doing it early on might just demotivate you to study anything. Rather than that, complete most important subjects. Of course, goes without saying, company law is one of the most important subject, and your second is your CFM, right? CFM, why? Because it is difficult for you guys. So
Yes.
make sure that these two subjects in a day you will do it no matter what. These both are non-negotiable. Okay. Even if you do two subjects in a day, I feel that would be better. That would be better till 30th September. Reason being, uh, once you finish by 30th September company law and CAFM, a substantial chunk of it, it gives you enough room to work on JIGL and SBIL in the month of October. So easily you can start your revisions by November first week or second week, right? So this is how you're going to plan. And now, how are you guys actually studying? Like when you, or do you guys study from textbook or do you refer to any study material? How do you do it?
Sir, I think that's where my question also lies because
Hmm.
we've like thoroughly studied it when we gave our attempt. So
Okay.
now sometimes when we are reading, there's certain
Hmm.
topics that even that time you've studied with full attention and detail. So now you just are like, okay, I know this, and you flip to the next page. So how should it be like? Should you refer
Okay.
the notes you've made, or like, are there any other way to like study?
So this is how you're going to deal with it. I understand, like, see, if I am understanding it right, correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying that I've already studied for company law before, and now
Yeah.
again, if I'm opening the book, it feels like I know everything. And is it
Hmm.
something like that?
Yes.
And how do you read it? See, that's when you actually revise. And now, most of the people, what they do is, when you are revising, they keep reading the material again and again. That does not help. That does not help at all. See, there are two ways you can revise and two ways you can learn. We call it active learning and passive learning. So what is happening in passive learning? You just have a book in front of you, just like how you read a storybook, you're just reading it and you're understanding, but you're not remembering. Whether we like it or not, I always see this, that CS exams, these professional exams, are to a large extent memory based. So we need to figure out a way to remember. Of course, understanding is needed, but just understanding might not be enough to clear your exams. You need to remember, you need to understand, and then remember. And remembering can only happen with your active recalling. Okay, what do I mean by active recalling? Close the book. You have a topic in front of you. Close that book. Close that book. Recall how much ever you can. It's fine even if you don't. That's when it becomes interesting. That's when it becomes interesting. You will know exactly where you're standing at. Probably the last time, I don't know, probably the last time you would have felt like you studied, but probably you weren't remembering well enough. And that is because of this. You guys need to do this. Do not feel like, "Oh, it feels like, like we read it. That's how we used to read in school." No, it does not matter. What matters is you clear your exams, right? So first thing, active recalling. Okay. And that way you can actually make your studies, much more lively, and you will actually understand what exactly went wrong in the previous attempts. Until and unless you will not understand what went wrong, now you feel like even if I ask you to explain a topic in your own words, you would be able to, I'm sure about that, but still you wouldn't be able to write it. And now comes the second aspect of it, writing your answers. How do you write your answers? For that is your answer writing practice, which has to happen on a daily basis, which has to happen, and this has to be non negotiable. Always, I'll tell you, I've always told this, in your day, make sure to have non negotiables. Make sure, what do I mean by non negotiables? No matter what happens, no matter where I am at, no matter how busy I am at, no matter how much pending syllabus is there, I will have to write two answers every single day. Okay, this has to be your non-negotiable. Either start your day with this or end your day with this. This is up to you what works. Okay, so make sure that you're doing this. Okay, why? Two reasons. See, the objective of answer writing practice is not to cover all the topics. It's not to cover all the topics. It's not to revise. There is only two objectives. You understand how much to write in one particular answer, and second, you understand how to manage time, right? See, majorly, I think even Sunit, like you had an issue with completing the paper. Probably there are only two reasons why you wouldn't be completing your paper: because you're writing slow, or you're giving too much details more than needed, right? So identifying how much should I be writing for what kind of question, and time yourself. Just doing answer writing practice is of no use. And even when you're doing answer writing practice, and even many students do it, but the way they do it is wrong. They open their book at the side, they're having the questions, and they're writing it the same thing again by looking at the answers. That doesn't help, right? So you have to study it, and you have a question in front of you. Time yourself, how much time are you taking? And you can extrapolate it like, okay, for 5 marks question, I've taken 3 minutes. Fine. If it is a 100 marks paper, how much time will I take? And also factor in the time for you thinking. In your exam, you will be spending at least 10 to 15 minutes to think. So factor in all those times, and effectively what I have seen is, out of 180 minutes, that is this 3 hours, you will actually be getting around 160 minutes. Being optimistic, you'll be getting around 160 minutes, right? So how are you going to break down your paper? And that will not come overnight. That has to come on a daily basis. And the other benefit, okay, of course, one is the time management, and you get to understand how much to write. This is what you need. Okay, and the second side, what is the second benefit? When you start solving questions on a consistent basis. See, consistency is the key here. It does not matter in a day you solve 100 questions. It really does not help. But doing 2 to 3 questions on a daily basis, even if you won't cover the syllabus with that, I am sure just by doing this exercise, you will be covering at least 30 to 40% of the syllabus. I'm being very conservative here. Think about it. You will be, and like we are left with 100 days. Let's say you're doing it consistently. You will cover around 200 questions. That's a substantial chunk of your syllabus. In every subject, I'm being optimistic and conservative here at the same time, you will cover at least 30 to 40% of the syllabus just by doing this, right? So this is something you need to start right away. Did you guys do this last time?
Um, yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably this time, I think that's the reason with you, you did not have the issue with time management, right?
Yeah,
You
and I
were
think
able
I
to
also
attempt.
like with the paper, I would start from the part of it that I am completely confident. Like,
Exactly. Perfect.
so I think, yeah. So,
Yeah, so that way, exam strategy. Okay, anyways, I thought I'll talk about it at a later point of time, but anyways, it has come up. Let's talk about it. And whenever you are giving your exam, make sure that you're starting with your best part of the question. Okay, I hope you guys know that there are 6 main questions. When you start one main question, finish all the sub questions and then move on to the next. So
yeah,
pick the one that's your strength. Okay, as you told that company law part B seems to be your strength.
yes,
So start with company law part B and then go for part A. That is totally fine. There's no rule that you have to start from question number one. So do not take that pressure. Okay. And Sunit, this is what will help you fix your time management skills and understand how much to write. I know you finished your law and you've been like used to writing lengthy answers. So now you will understand. See, here we need to write the answers to the point. Okay. And most of the students, what do they end up doing is like once they get a question, they come across a question that they know really well. They end up writing 2 3 pages for 5 marks question, which is pointless. See, what I do appreciate the fact that you have the knowledge, but that doesn't help you clear your exam. What helps you clear your exam is writing to the point answer, covering all the important topics, and moving on in a time bound manner. That's what will help you clear. And make sure anyone watching this video, attempting for 100 marks is the key. Attempting for 100 marks is the key. You will know some or the other thing about that one particular topic. You don't have to hesitate. Okay. So please do this. This will help you a long way in clearing your exams. Okay. And now September 30th is done. So September 30th, let's say either your first revision or your first reading should be done for which subject? Company law. CAFM will take time. It's okay. You can keep a deadline of October 31st. There is no issue because you still have November, month of November and December to revise. Now you might be feeling like, "Arey sir, we have so much of time. You can take it a bit lightly." No, absolutely not. It doesn't work. Okay, you have to be consistent and make sure to study every day with a minimum set number of hours. You are setting yourself say minimum 6 hours. Make sure to study 6 hours every single day. Anything above that in a day is a bonus. But that doesn't mean, okay, sir, today I studied 8 hours, 2 hours in addition. Tomorrow I'll study only for 4 hours. No, you have to set minimum number of hours and stay consistent. Okay, and now, do you guys have any other questions or before? Have any other questions? Sunit?
I have one question, sir.
Yes.
I'm left with three subjects in module one.
You're
So
left with three subjects in
module
module one.
one.
Okay, fine.
So I have to score an average of 50 marks in each subject. So
Okay, fine.
is it possible to cross 50 in every subject practically?
Perfect. I was expecting this question. So how do you plan it now? Okay. So you are saying you need to score 50 plus. Okay, that is needed for your minimum average. Okay. Now think about it. You and out of these three subjects for Sunit and four subjects for Sanjana, okay, make sure you have two subjects where you are sure that you are going to score 60 plus. Okay. Why? Because even if one or two question papers do end up coming difficult, and let's say on a bad day you end up scoring 40 in 40s, you have to protect your aggregate. And now, Sunit, you have claimed your exemption, so you will have to score in each and every paper 50 because you have claimed the exemption of JIGL because of your law degree, right? So now you need to focus, like, let it be company law. So you have only two options in theory subject: company law and setting up. So in company law, it has to be your strength, no matter even if the paper ends up coming difficult. Remember one thing: there will be in every single attempt, there'll be at least one subject which will be tricky, which will test you to a large extent, and scoring 60 in those might be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but might be difficult, right? And remember one thing: do not panic when that kind of papers are coming. Know that if it is difficult for you, it is difficult for everyone else sitting in the exam hall, right? So first thing, let's say you have decided to score 60 plus in company law. Here you're not thinking about scoring 50 or anything. Here your only objective is one single thing: how do I score 60 plus? Because you are sure that in company law, even if the paper is difficult, you'll end up scoring 50 plus. Even if the paper is difficult, you'll score 50 plus. If the paper is moderately difficult, you will end up scoring 60 plus. Why? This will help your aggregate. And you have to pick another theory subject for scoring more. And you don't have any other option. The other subject is for you setting up. CAFM, as you told that last time you struggled with it, okay? As much as I'm saying focus on work on your weakness, but that doesn't mean you leave out your strength. Your strength is still your company law and your theory subjects. So make sure to focus more on that so that you can get exemption again. You can score an exemption. Even God forbid you don't score 50 plus, even you don't end up scoring 55 or anything in CAFM, you are still safe with aggregate aspect. Clear? Okay. And Sanjana, for you, the same thing applies. So would you say JIGL is your strength? Like, what do you
Yeah.
say? Okay, so then you know what to do exactly. From all this discussion, you can pick two subjects, which is it, company law and JIGL, where you're not struggling to clear it. You're not struggling, like score 50. Your only worry in these two subjects should be how do I get an exemption?
Yes.
That should be your level of preparation. And for exemptions, you need to keep solving multiple questions. And when you are revising, probably during your second revision, which will start after your first revision. So you have done with your company law, right? So let's say you're done with your first revision by end of this month of company law.
I think
Okay,
this
then you do
week
it.
I'll be done, sir. I have only 3 chapters left.
No, revision, not the first reading. Like after
Revision.
you finish
Okay.
revision. So by this month end probably,
Yes.
right? So in the month of October, let's say when you start your second revision,
Mm.
start solving scanner questions, start solving previous year questions. Why? Because you can now understand what kind of questions they are asking. Now you will get a good idea. Okay, from general meeting chapter, these are the topics that they are asking again and again. Okay, fine. If these kind of questions are coming, I know how to answer. Not just knowing the concept. Now, see, it's at three levels. One is understanding. Fine, we have understood what is section 96. Then the second level is remembering section 96. And then the third level, and the most important, is how are you going to answer that particular question in the answer sheet? And that will happen in your second revision. That will happen in your second revision. Clear? Are you following?
Yes, sir. So my
Huh.
question is, first reading is something you'll do. You know what to do exactly. But
Right.
then the revision, how are you supposed to do it? Because scanners come at a later point, like the third.
Right. So
To
revision
complete.
wherever you have studied from. If you studied from ICSI study material, stick to that. I know it is tempting to go and find other study materials and all. Don't do that mistake. Do not do that mistake. Rather, stick to the material that you're comfortable with. See, when you study a particular subject from one single study material, you would have spent a lot of time with it, right? So you know exactly what you have highlighted. Probably when you come to that page, immediately it will trigger like what is there in that page. That will help you revise much more quickly than a revision notes. Trust me on this, because revision notes is something that you're not comfortable with. If you had studied from day one, it would have been helpful. Okay, now so that's the reason having your own study material, ICSI study material also works. Now you can flip through pages. Every page, okay, fine. You come across section 100. Fine. Extraordinary general meetings. What are the modes of extra? Just you can quickly revise. And how did I tell you to revise? Close the book and recall. Close the book and recall. That's the only way you are going to remember stuff. Okay. And if you are during your first revision, there might be some topics which you might be forgetting. You don't have to worry. Just mark it in the textbook and move on. The next time when you come back to revision, you know where to focus on. And if this is the point, like if you have highlighted, let's say you marked it in red, the points that you're forgetting, trust me, most likely those are the points you're going to forget even in the exam, right? So now you know how to actually study for these topics. You understanding? Right? So, and when you start and see, answer writing is different, and doing and focusing more on scanners during second revision is different. Answer writing practice, you will do it from today. You don't have to wait for second revision. You don't have to wait for your syllabus to complete. You don't have to wait for your first revision to start. No, start it right away. The sooner you start, know that you can solve two more questions. Let's say you started today rather than tomorrow. Know that you can do two more questions today, and make it a point that no matter what you do, even if you're studying less, these two questions, answer writing practice, is a non-negotiable thing. Anyways, we'll be providing you with some practice questions which will help you solve these questions. But overall, even from your side, you have your scanners, you have your guideline answers from ICSI, pick those. And this will, as I told you, this will of course help you with your time management and will let you know how much to exactly write, and at least help you in revising 30 to 40% of the syllabus. Okay, now is this clear? So I think we are almost done with the first reading and the first revision part, right? And November is the month when you're going to take up, or probably in the October second half, either October second half, depending on how soon you finish your revisions. If you're finishing your revisions soon, so probably by October 21st or October 20th, you can start with your setting up. Okay, you can start with your setting up subject, and then make sure that you are not doing any new topic after 30th November. After 30th November. Okay. Now, when you are doing setting up, your two subjects you would have finished, no? Company law and JIGL. Revise it along with setting up, because that time you have lesser subjects to study. Let's say right now you're doing JIGL, company law, and CAFM. You're doing JIGL, company law, and CAFM. Right now you're doing three subjects, but at that point of time, you will be only doing setting up. Probably you would have finished to a large extent even CAFM, right? So this gives you time to revise your two hero subjects. Like for, in your case, it is your JIGL and company law. So here you can get one additional revision, right? And then, understood till now? Do you have any doubts till now? We'll move forward.
Yes.
Fine. Now coming to December. Coming to December. First thing you need to keep in mind, no more new topics. No matter how much you feel like, "Arey, I should have studied that," do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. Okay. Try to cover as much as you can by 30th November. Anything is there, including setting up, and also make it a point that as you are only doing one subject of theory in the month of November, that is setting up, it has to be completed uh, in a quick manner. You cannot take two because in the November month you will also have to revise setting up once again. Your first reading also will be completed in November because it's just one subject. You can easily do it. You can easily do it. Okay, and then the second, then your first revision will also happen in the month of November itself. Clear? And then coming to December, you will have to revise quickly. See, your first reading might have taken around 3 to 4 hours for your first reading. First revision might take around 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. And then your second revision will take lesser amount of time. Now, most of the questions, I am pretty sure in December, if I talk to you on December 1st, the question you're going to ask is, "Sir, in 20 days, how can I revise it?" You can revise it because you have studied before. It shouldn't take too much time for you. And it's not that you will have to study each and everything once again, right? And clear. So, how will you do it? Let's say you open a book, the same thing what you did for your first revision, you're doing it once again. But this time it will take lesser amount of time because you have studied it before. Probably if something you have taken for 2.5 hours previously, you will end up taking 1.5 to 2 hours. So you can end up doing 4 to 5 chapters revision in a single day in the month of December, right? So this is how you end up covering a major chunk of revision before the exam. And always remember, if your first exam for you, for Sunit, the first exam is not JIGL, but let's say first exam is JIGL. Leave the last 3 to 4 days for JIGL. Let's say your exam is starting on December 22nd. Okay, December 21, 22nd. So last from 16th or 17th of December, leave it for JIGL. Focus only on JIGL because your exam momentum will be based on your first exam. If your first exam goes well, you will eventually be motivated to not give up and do your remaining exams well. So even if JIGL is difficult, okay, in your case, company law, Sunit, even if company law or JIGL comes difficult, you have to do well because the next paper is dependent upon this because your motivation is directly proportional to how well your first paper goes. So even if it is a difficult paper and you found it to be okay, you attempted 100 marks, you still feel better than all of your rest of the peers who are giving your exam, right? Like everyone in the exam hall would be saying, "Arey, sir, it was so difficult, it was so," but you would have felt that, "Arey, it was not so difficult, I did pretty well, so I'm in a safe spot." That just gives you more motivation to do well in the subsequent exams. So think of December only for the 15 days, and the remaining 4 to 5 days, make sure that it is for the first subject. Okay, and now coming to the day of exam, coming to the day of exam, and now as your guys are giving only one group, so you'll have 1 day gap as well. So remember that your December exams are from 2 to 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that has happened to you because anyways after exam, even if it was from 9 to 12, you wouldn't have too much of energy to come back and study, right? You would end up wasting time, you would take a nap, or you just would want to relax. So when it's 2 to 5, it gives you a great advantage. Why? Because if you figure out waking up early in the morning, so let's say you start waking up at like morning 3 o'clock or something, directly 9 hours of studies you can have just on the day of exam. I'm not counting in the number of hours you will be studying between the two exams. Between the two exams, you will have around, easily you can study for 12 hours. On the day of exam, though, you will have to study for 12 hours. So let's say JIGL is done. Okay. So JIGL, let's say it's on 21st. Okay, so you're waking up at in the morning 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Till 12 o'clock, you have 9 solid hours of revision where you can easily finish revising and studying easily 9 to 10 chapters, bare minimum, bare minimum. And you can pick the most important chapters. And by the time when you study this much, it should be fine. Like you will be able to figure out, "Acha, from these chapters I'm going to get more questions." Understanding how you're understanding, right? And
Yeah.
that's what you're going to. And now in the next day, and once before company law, you have a day gap. Again, do the same process. Again, do the same process. Make sure that all the important topics are covered before exam, and make sure and try learn. And I say that it is possible to wake up at 3 o'clock. I know it might sound absurd right now, but anyone who has done it, it does help a lot. Right? From morning 3 to 12, you can study continuously for 9 hours. Easily around 10 to 12 chapters you can revise, and it's just right. It's just like before 2 hours before the exam you have studied, so it's fresh in your memory. It's fresh in your memory. That just helps you write answers in a much better way, because answer writing practice is done by now, right? So you know how to write answers. All you need to do is make sure that you're remembering everything. And think about it. If 9 to 10 chapters you are studying, that's basically 50% of your syllabus. But what did I say? These 9 to 10 chapters are the most important chapters. So there is a chance that most likely these 9 to 10 chapters will carry 70% of your marks. Even in that 70%, let's say 70 marks is coming from these 9 to 10 chapters, you end up scoring 50 or 40 to 45, being conservative. And you still easily you can just sail through the paper without any worries. And now I think this also answers Sumit's question, like how do I make sure that I have to score 50, right? When you are thorough with 70% of the syllabus, it becomes easier for you to clear it, right? Because you will end up just with these with these 9 to 10 chapters, you will end up scoring around 50, and all you need is another 10 marks from rest of the 9 to 10 chapters. Clear? So this
Yes.
is how we are going to strategize for your exams. So just to break it down with today's discussion, pick two subjects and one practical subject. Keep setting up for November. Make sure your second revision is also done by 31st of October, so that in November you can focus more on setting up and revising the other two theory subjects. And your CAFM should be completed by 31st October. Why? Because it gives you time to revise CAFM as well. Okay. So and also CAFM, you don't have to wait to start revision till 31st October. As and when you're studying, probably start solving questions whenever you find time. Two answer writing practice questions you're doing. That is the two questions from theory subjects. Probably another two questions from CAFM. So this is now, it's unlike the older syllabus. Now it's written exam. It's descriptive exam. So you even here you need to know how to write answers, right? So this is how you are going to plan, and it is totally possible for you guys to clear it. And anyone watching, in 100 days, if you plan it like this, it should be possible for you to clear the exams. Okay. Any other questions you guys have?
Yes.
Hmm? Anything else? Fine. Okay. So all the best, guys,
Thank you,
Thank you,
and
sir.
sir.
study well. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me. Okay. So I'll see you all in after clearing your December exams. Okay. Bye, guys. See you.
Bye,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye.